Hello everyone! Today I'm going to be showing you how I did this stick and poke tattoo for my roommate. She drew the original design, so this is just me tracing over it in Procreate, making some small tweaks while I'm at it. The reason why I thought that this would be interesting for you to see is that if you've seen my previous videos, you know that I have something called Marfan syndrome. It affects me in a ton of different ways, but one of them is that I completely lose vision in one of my eyes when I look down. I will tell you more about it as the video progresses, but for now you can see me very professionally trying to match the tattoo with the one that she already has. I don't have a printer, so the stencil was also hand drawn. Here you can see me just using a tattoo marker to make sure that we put the stencil on right and showing off the stencil stuff like a 2016 makeup tutorial. I've been making stick and poke tattoos for a few years, but I'm in no way a professional. I've just been doing it for myself and my friends. So even though I'm describing my process here, please don't take it as a tutorial. Here we're doing a little chant to get the stencil to come out nicely, which luckily it did. This is always such a satisfying part in my opinion. The needles that I'm using for this tattoo are Akon's Hydra needles in 07 round liner medium and 05 round liner tight. You can also see here that I wrap my needles to get better grip on them. And here to start off, I'm just applying a layer of Vaseline to help with the ink bleeding so I can see more clearly where I'm poking. So even though I've done quite a few stick and poke tattoos, you can see that I go extremely slow. And of course, a reason for that is I just want to make sure that I'm poking the correct spots. But also, as mentioned previously, I indeed cannot see with my right eye at all when I bend my head down like this. And this is not something that I grew up with or that I'm used to, as it's actually just a random symptom that I got after an eye surgery that I had in 2021. So indeed, it has been a while. So by now I've learned to kind of work around it, but it doesn't mean that it makes things easier. To paint you a better picture of what this symptom is like, the way that it works is that the more I tilt my head down, the blurrier my vision becomes until I actually cannot make out anything. I will do a little effect on the video now to illustrate how blurry my vision gets. I'm sure that based on that, you can imagine how difficult it makes tasks like tattooing or doing the dishes or cleaning or reading or drawing, anything like that. So I use special things to help me with my everyday tasks, like a desk that I can tilt up, and like in the case of tattooing, I just take plenty of breaks where I kind of reset my eye, so I lean backwards and tilt my head up until the blurriness goes away, and then I can work a little bit before it goes completely blurry again, and I just keep doing that. Luckily with tattooing, since you need to dip the needle back in ink, you need to wipe the tattoo, so there's kind of a rhythm to doing that. Also, you can't really tell from the video or the angle that I'm filming in, but I'm also situated in a way where I'm not looking completely down. So it's more in an angle. But when I first noticed that symptom after the eye surgery, I was so devastated. As I mentioned earlier, it affects a lot of everyday tasks, and since I also love art, I love drawing, I love painting, all of that stuff, I immediately knew that it would have a huge effect on what I could do. And I feel like what really made me feel awful about it was in my art class when we had to do ink drawings. And for that, obviously you need to have the paper completely flat on the table, and I just couldn't do it. It made me feel incredibly frustrated and angry that something I could easily do and completely took for granted just a couple weeks ago was suddenly so challenging for me. And you know, of course, I can just close my right eye and work completely with my left, but my vision is already very bad. The current prescription that I have for my glasses is -10. So you can probably imagine that my vision in general is not that great. So then to take out my other eye completely, plus my depth perception, because you know, when you close one of your eyes, then you can't really see how far something is. You know, that just sucks. During that time, I was also heavily considering actually pursuing tattooing as a career, but after getting that symptom, I really feel like it kind of crushed that dream in a way, because it just limits my working positions and everything so greatly that I'm not sure if I could ever do this professionally. So that's kind of something that I just let go of. But as you can see, I still enjoy doing this as a very low stress, low pressure activity for me and my friends, since you know, they don't mind if we have to do some weird fucky positions or if it takes a bit longer for me to finish. So I'm happy that I can still do it in some form. But yeah, I'm still finding ways to work around it, and luckily I have other passions as well within art, so it's not like I had to bury the only dream I've ever had. So I do truly think that it's all gonna be okay. And if you've already made it this far into the video, I just want to thank you so much for watching. Creating YouTube videos has been so fun. I know I took like a 4-month break, but that's just because I was working on my thesis, and now that I'm finished with it, I should have way more time to post and come up with video ideas. So I'm once again asking, if you guys have anything specific that you want to see, then please let me know in the comments below. And if you're into the type of content that I've been posting, then please consider subscribing. Also, if you happen to be a pro at stick and poke, feel free to give me some feedback, because like I said in the beginning, I'm not a professional. I'm actually completely self-taught just through YouTube videos, different kinds of tutorials, and from getting stick and poke tattoos myself, and from observing how those artists made them. So I'm definitely aware that there's probably things to be improved and tweaked. But just to explain a bit more about my process here, I'm just reapplying the Vaseline to again help with the ink bleeding. I keep changing the needles to make sure that it's nice and sharp and crisp. For the leaves and the stem, I used a 7, and now for the actual flower-ish part, I'm using a 5, and I'm just trying to make it very diffused and soft. We kept having conversations during the tattooing process about how my friend wanted it to look like. Now that I've gone over the general shape very lightly, you can see me very aggressively rubbing the tattoo to get the stencil off, so I can see properly what I'm doing and I can just start working a bit more loosely, since indeed my roommate did want that kinda feathered out gradient sort of look. You can actually see us discussing here how dark she wants it and what exactly the game plan is before I start working on it. The previous night I had done a little test on a piece of fake skin, but if you've ever tried to do stick and poke on fake skin, especially the kind of thin one that I have, it's very bad and it does not give accurate results. So it's better to just double and triple check while doing things, so there's not like a nasty surprise waiting when she looks in the mirror or just glances down. But now I think there's been enough of my yapping, so I'll just let you enjoy the rest of the time lapse and I'll pop back in towards the end. And we're almost to the finish line. Here you can just see me do a few finishing touches, so just going over spots that look a little bit sparse. If you made it all the way to the end, thank you again so much for watching. Let me know in the comments if you have any tattoos, if you've ever seen a stick and poke tattoo done before, or if you yourself would ever get one. I really hope you enjoyed watching, and hopefully I will see you in the next video. Bye bye!